Good evening, dear friends. I have a deceptively simple tale about a doll. But beware, this doll isn't your average porcelain painting. It's the kind of doll that gives you a polite smile and then waits for you to blink before it does something entirely unexpected. Meet Harold Pritchard, a mild-mannered accountant who lives alone in a tidy flat with exactly one picture on the wall, the barely framed family photo, and exactly one shadow that, according to Harold, sometimes whispers back. One Tuesday evening, on his way home through a rainy alleyway, he spots a little shop he's never seen before. The sign above the door reads, Madame Zara's Rare Curiosities. Intrigued by the flickering neon skull, he ducks inside and is instantly confronted by row upon row of dusty oddities. Taxidermied raccoon heads, two-headed pennies, and at the very back, a single glass case containing a lopsided doll dressed in a faded Victorian frock. Madame Zara, a woman whose head could swallow a small doll, beckons Harold forward. She's lonely. The madam whispers conspiratorially. She needs a companion. Harold laughs nervously because the doll's cracked porcelain face seems to blush under her bob black hair. Yet something about that tiny smile tugs at him, a promise of something. When he glances at the price tag, he nearly chokes. $5. He would spend $5 on a cup of terrible coffee that morning. How could he refuse? Back in his flat, Harold places the doll on the shelf next to his solitary photograph. He names her Lillian because Lillian sounds companionable. Lillian stares at him all evening as he eats his microwave dinner. When he yawns, she tilts her head. When he checks his phone, she raises a porcelain eyebrow. That night, Harold dreams he's back in the alleyway, carrying Lillian like a baby. She giggles, a sound so sweet it could melt chocolate. But when he looks down, her painted smile has stretched into a grin so wide it catches his reflection in her glassy eyes. The next morning, Harold wakes to find Lillian perched at the foot of his bed. He never moved her. He blinks. She blinks back. He stares at the clock. 6:30. That's 40 minutes before his alarm. He tells himself it's the storm outside, and maybe his brain is still muddled from too much instant ramen. He grabs Lillian, stands her upright on the nightstand, and rushes off to work. All day long, Harold feels what? At the photocopier, he's certain she's there in the corner of his eye, standing in his cubicle beside his coffee mug. When he opens a drawer for a stapler, he almost jumps because there she is, seated promptly, looking up at him as if to ask, "Why aren't you talking to me?" He shakes his head. This is absurd. It must be anxiety. People are always anxious in cubicles. That night, institutional exhaustion drags him home. He slumps onto the couch and immediately hears tiny laughter. He bows upright. Lillian sits on the coffee table, her dress ruffled, one shoe missing. On the table beside her, Harold's missing shoe from this morning. He rubs his eyes. The shoe topples onto the floor as if pushed. The candlelight flickers, and just for a second, Lillian's smile widens impossibly. Harold backs away, heart pounding, and nearly trips over his other shoe, which, now that he thinks about it, is also missing its partner. Panic claws at his chest. He grabs Lillian and storms into the kitchen. He's going to throw her into a box, nail her to Madame Zara, get a refund, anything. But as he strides past the living room mirror, he freezes. Behind him, perched on the sofa, sits a different doll, identical to Lillian in every detail, down to the chipping paint on her cheeks, except this one has Harold's face, porcelain skin, painted glasses, and a stiff cardboard name tag pinned to her dress. Harold Pritchard. He drops Lillian. She hits the tile with a hollow click. Both dolls turn their heads in unison to face him. Harold's knees buckle. The original Lillian chuckles, an eerie echo of her earlier giggle, and opens her mouth wide. revealing rows of tiny, serrated teeth. Across the room, the Harold doll begins to rise, porcelain limbs cracking. It steps off the couch, clings across the floorboards, and fixes Harold with its painted eyes. "Thank you," it says in Harold's voice. I always wanted a body. You've been so kind to lend me yours." Harold splutters for words. The room spins. The doll steps closer. The two of them. It's not the real Harold opens his mouth to scream, but instead, a high-pitched chuckle escapes. He looks down at himself, stiff and tiny, crusty-eyed, and realizes too late that his story has reached its final page. So next time you see a lonely doll in a shop window, consider the company you keep. Some bargains cost more than a few dollars, and some smiles are meant to last. In the in-between, nothing is quite what it seems, especially when you blink.